Pokemon Champions and Pokemon Legends ZA are coming out really soon, and with them come one of the most powerful and popular mechanics in Pokemon, Mega Evolution. Now, I'm sure plenty of people have told you already about how broken Mega Kangaskhan and Mega Rayquaza are, but a lot has changed since those Pokemon were legal. The last time we had Mega Evolutions, many of the moves, abilities, and Pokemon we see in every tournament weren't in the game yet, and certain mechanics just worked differently. So the question is, has anything changed or been introduced that would make what used to be mediocre or bad Mega Evolutions the next broken threat? That's what we're gonna look at today. Mega Evolutions that have gotten way better because of changes in the game. Let's go. Starting at number 5, we have Mega Lopunny. In prior games, Mega Lopunny had a huge problem, that being another normal type Mega Evolution that the metagame absolutely revolved around, Mega Kangaskhan. Since Mega Kang hit way harder than Mega Lopunny, and had access to the devastating combo of Power Up Punch with its ability Parental Bond, which allowed it to get more damage out of the move, and to attack stat boost all at once, the poor bunny was almost entirely outclassed. But Lopunny did have a few advantages, one of the biggest being that when it Mega Evolved, it became a fighting type. This allowed Lopunny to outspeed and threaten to one-hit KO Mega Kang with devastating high jump kicks. It's kind of funny that the only thing Mega Lopunny was really good at was beating the Pokemon that otherwise completely invalidates it. But that's not to say that Kangaskhan was strictly better than Lopunny. Lopunny was faster, and therefore had access to fast Fake Out, and had some good utility options like Encore, Thunder Waves, and Fake Tears. I even saw one team report where Lopunny was using Teeter Dance, which is just funny. But the point is, Mega Lopunny was decent. It had a niche, but it wasn't super strong. So has anything changed since then? Well, a few things. First off, Scrappy got a huge buff. Now, instead of just being a way for your fighting types to hit ghost types, which is already pretty strong, it now also makes the Pokemon immune to Intimidate. This means that Mega Lopunny is a fighting type Pokemon that's immune to Intimidate, which makes it strong against, well, you know who. Plus, Scrappy has become even more valuable since the introduction of Pokemon like Golden Go. This annoying string cheese man goes from laughing at your fighting a normal type coverage to dying instantaneously to a high jump kick. And finally, Mega Lopunny's old nemesis, Mega Kangaskhan, has gotten nerfed several times since the Pokemon's introduction. First, its Parental Bond damage was reduced, and now one of the Pokemon's scariest moves, Power Up Punch, was removed entirely in Scarlet and Violet. So, with these shifts in context, it's clear Mega Lopunny is a bit better off than it was last time Mega Pokemon were legal. Will it be broken? No. But will it be good? Probably, yeah. The next member of our list, the question isn't will it be broken or not, but rather just how broken will it be? But before we get into that, let me tell you about how you can Mega Evolve the way you surf the net with Surfshark VPN. These days, it seems like everyone is either trying to take your data or tell you what you can and can't do online, but Surfshark keeps you private and secure. I'd been meaning to get a VPN for a while now, and when Surfshark reached out, I finally decided to give it a shot, and honestly, I'm impressed. As anyone who watches this channel knows, I travel a lot for Pokemon events, so knowing my devices are safe and secure, even when using airport or other public Wi-Fi, is a huge boost. And with businesses charging more money in some areas than others, a VPN can hide where you're browsing from and unlock better deals, saving you on big-ticket items like hotels and plane tickets. And while you're using Surfshark, you can set your location to anywhere in the world, allowing you to access geo-restricted content on streaming services. For example, I'm a huge fan of Star Trek The Next Generation, but it's not on Netflix in the USA. Just swap my location to the UK and I'm back on the Enterprise. Surfshark offers other products like Surfshark Alert to notify you if there's been a data breach, which just seems to be happening more and more lately, frankly. Surfshark is so confident you'll love their products that you'll get a 30 days money-back guarantee if you sign up and give it a shot. Go to surfshark.com/scraw or use code SCRAW at checkout to get 4 extra months of Surfshark VPN. Now, back to the video. At number 4, we have Mega Metagross. He isn't number 4 because he's the fourth best Pokemon on this list, he's probably the strongest, but he was already super good, and the changes are just less drastic than some other Pokemon. Metagross, Mega or otherwise, has been a presence in almost every format it's been legal for. Steel and Psychic is pretty good typing, backed up by great stats, and a great ability in Clear Body. Metagross's biggest issue has always been its move pool, and I don't mean its coverage. It has access to lots of good coverage moves. Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, Earthquake, so on and so forth. But its problem has always been its stab moves. Metagross is a physical attacker, and Psychic isn't known for having great physical moves. Last time we could play Mega Metagross, its only real option was Zen Headbutt, which is only 80 base power, and it isn't perfectly accurate. And when it comes to Steel-type moves, it has access to Iron Head, which is a fine move, but not exactly a big nuclear missile button. But since then, Metagross has gotten some upgrades. In Generation 9, Metagross got access to Psychic Fangs, a psychic move that is slightly stronger than Zen Headbutt that is also perfectly accurate, and it got access to Heavy Slam, a weight-based Steel-type move that, due to Metagross's relatively heavy weight, will almost always be 120 base power. These upgrades cannot be understated. You need to understand, with Metagross's same type attack bonus, Heavy Slam is functionally a 180 base power move. That means that a neutral Heavy Slam Slam will do more damage than a super effective Ice Punch or Thunder Punch, drastically decreasing Metagross's reliance on hitting Pokemon for super effective damage, and drastically increasing Metagross's overall damage output. This allows it to rely more on its stab moves and neutral damage, and clears up slots on its moveset for utility, stuff like Protect. Now, take everything I just said about base Metagross, give it a built-in 1.3 times boost with its contact moves with the ability Tough Claws, higher stats, and make it even heavier so Heavy Slam's power is maxed out even more often, and you're cooking. Last time Mega Metagross was around, he didn't have any of these tools, and he was still top 8ing and winning major events extremely consistently. So with these huge upgrades, this thing, he might be a problem, frankly. Coming in at number 3, we have Mega Camerupt. When Camerupt Mega evolves, it gets a huge special attack stat, access to Sheer Force, which increases the damage of moves with secondary effects like Heat Wave or Earth Power by about 30%, and it becomes really, really slow. The main way people use this Pokemon is a slow eruption spamming Pokemon in Trick Room. It sounds pretty similar to another Gen 3 Pokemon, right? Well, it kind of is, and we'll talk about that soon. In the past, Mega Camerupt did have some top 8s at various regionals and special events. Just about 6 across all the times it was legal. Every time it was heard of a Trick Room setter like Stakataka, Mimikyu, or Cresselia. So what's changed that I think it'll be less fringe? Well, the power of super offensive hard Trick Room teams has gone up immensely since then, almost entirely due to Indeedee Female. Indeedee's ability to set up Psychic Terrain with Psychic Surge to prevent Fake Out, and access to Follow Me to stop an opponent from disrupting your Trick Room setter's, well, Trick Room setting, has made all-in Trick Room teams much more consistent at twisting the dimensions. As such, a Pokemon that can basically only operate as a strong Pokemon in Trick Room gets better as well. But remember how I said this guy is pretty similar to another Gen 3 Pokemon? Well, it's Torkoal. Why use him over Torkoal? After all, Choice Specs Torkoal's eruptions are stronger than Mega Camerupts if you factor in Torkoal's built-in Sun bonus from Drought. Well, it's the rest of the moves I'm interested in. You see, because Torkoal relies so heavily on multipliers to deal damage, if it gets knocked off, or damaged, or Sun gets overwritten, or a bulky Pokemon resists Fire-type moves, then it just isn't doing very much.
I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting cooked.
And with Choice Specs, Torkoal's gonna get stuck with whatever move it chose forever, whereas Mega Camerupt can start slinging Earth Powers and dealing way more damage than Torkoal would, or Protect, or do anything because it's more flexible. He's probably a side grade for Torkoal at best, and the metagame will dictate which one is stronger, but with how much more powerful the archetype he likes to be on has become, he just had to be on this list. And at number 2, we have another one of Steven Stone's Pokemon to go along with Metagross, Mega Aggron. This guy genuinely has nowhere to go but up because, as hard as I tried to look, I genuinely could not find a single time this Pokemon did well at a regional. No top 8s at all. And it's honestly kind of obvious why. Mega Aggron's best stat by a country mile is its defense. It has a decent attack, but nothing crazy, especially without boosting it. So, with great typing in Pure Steel, the ability Filter mitigating how much damage it takes from super effective damage, and its great natural bulk, it could sit there for a while.
Yep, it's going down. Okay. He didn't protect. That almost was. Whoa! What the hell is the defense on that thing?
But your Mega Pokemon needs to actually do something on the field, not just sit there. Well, in Generation 8, we got a new move, Body Press, which scales off a Pokemon's defense stat instead of one of its 2 attacking stats. This lets Mega Aggron take that huge stat and put it to work, especially if it's boosted even further with Iron Defense. But unfortunately, Mega Aggron has yet another problem. With a bulky setup Pokemon like this, you want some good recovery option, because no matter how bulky you are, you can still get whittled down a little at a time. Since Aggron doesn't have access to any unconditional recovery moves like Recover or Slack Off, this means it would normally need to rely on something like Leftovers or a Citrus Berry. But because Mega Aggron is a Mega Pokemon, it needs to hold its Mega Stone, restricting it from getting to use one of these valuable healing items. But since the last time Mega Aggron has existed, a new Pokemon that perfectly complements it has emerged, Rillaboom. Thanks to Rillaboom's ability, Grassy Surge, Mega Aggron can basically have Leftovers recovery every turn from Grassy Terrain. And with Rillaboom's Fake Out, it can make sure opposing Pokemon flinch while Aggron takes time to set up its Iron defenses for even stronger body presses. It likely won't be the #1 most powerful Mega Pokemon or anything like that, but going from a Pokemon with close to no real reason to use it, to having a massively powerful setup attack combo just can't be ignored or understated. But even Mega Aggron's glow up is nothing compared to #1, Mega Alakazam. Frankly, with all the new tools this Pokemon has gotten, if it's not good now, I really don't think anything will ever make it good. If you look at Mega Alakazam's stats, it's a little confusing why this Pokemon hasn't been very good historically. It has a 175 special attack stat, making it stronger than Calyrex. Its speed ties Calyrex with a stat of 150, and while yeah, it is pretty frail, there needed to be a trade-off somewhere. And with its ability, Trace, Mega Alakazam can randomly also be a defensive piece, copying Intimidate or another useful ability, like imagine this thing with like Sheer Force. So why wasn't this guy good? Well, he's really really physically frail, meaning one solid neutral physical hit would probably send this guy off the field. And since he doesn't have access to a held item thanks to his pesky Megastone, he can't use a Focus Sash to keep himself safe the way most other frail but powerful Pokemon can. If we look at Mega Alakazam's move pool back in Generation 7, it's only okay, relying on stuff like Dazzling Gleam and Focus Blast, a weak move, and an inconsistent move. And this issue only gets exacerbated when we remember that last time we could play with Mega Alakazam, we had access to Hidden Power, which is gone. And the weird thing is, the only time this Pokemon did anything, it wasn't even relying on its crazy high special attack stat or speed. Last time around, Mega Alakazam only ever had one result: top 64 in the North American International Championships in the hands of Jamie Boyd, with Mega Alakazam less as an attacker and more as a fast gravity user to pair with his Crobat's Hypnosis and Primal Groudon's Precipice Blades. A fun strategy, but there's a reason no one else ever did anything with it, and its highest result was the top 64. So what has changed since then? Well, something huge. Mega Alakazam got access to a spread move, a really strong spread move, Expanding Force. But there's a problem. Expanding Force requires Psychic Terrain to be up to be a spread move, otherwise it's just worse Psychic. So allow me to reintroduce a Pokemon we discussed earlier today, Indeedee. Indeedee's Psychic Terrain, plus access to Follow Me, simultaneously increases Mega Alakazam's damage output and survivability by many times. Your opponent won't be able to get Alakazam with priority moves to circumvent its crazy speed stat, and with Indeedee's Follow Me, you'll be able to make sure that both your Pokemon can't just live one hit from Mega Alakazam and KO it back. It's a great setup, and it gets even better if Alakazam gets some increased coverage, like give it Ice Beam or give it something. Honestly, if Mega Alakazam doesn't have at least a niche with such a powerful spread move at its disposal with these stats, we kinda need to throw the Pokemon out and start all over again. Should I make a video about fixing bad Mega Pokemon? Anyway, that's the top 5 most improved Mega Pokemon coming into Pokemon Champions. Make sure to tell me how wrong I am when the game comes out and they're all bad. And don't forget to give Surfshark VPN a try. Thanks for watching, bye.